Hello DG Lovelies, this is Neisha M, your geek mom, and Joe, coming to you from Diversely Geek Discusses, where we will talk about everything that makes up my geek universe, your geek universe, our geek universe, and really look at what it means to embrace your inner geek, express your inner geek, and then transform your fandom passion into positive action. I believe we are all part of one big, huge, amazing geek nation, perfectly imperfect, and I think our fandom passions really help us to learn who we are, identify, and become geek-amazing people. Welcome, join in, be part of our geek family.
And welcome back, DG Lovelies. This is Neisha M, your geek mom, bringing you a tale of magic and fantasy, hope, imagination, and possibilities. And welcome to another episode of My Geek Universe, where we share with you my journey and the journey of our fantastic guest, who today is Kat Smith. Woohoo! And we discuss embracing our inner geek, expressing it every day, and give you insight into how we can all connect to our geek nature. Coming to us from, and where are you right now, by the way?
I'm in New York.
You are in New York, yes.
I am a New Yorker to my soul.
I'm a transplanted New Yorker, yes. I'm one of those Floridians who are from New York, but still hold on to it dearly.
Well, of course you would. We want to. New York is awesome.
It absolutely is. And I really had the amazing luck and blessings to meet you back in December. Well, we've been chatting a little bit as we were leading up towards SqueakCon, the small convention that Hansi Oppenheimer put on.
That was so much fun.
It was just so much fun. And I moseyed my way up there from Florida to meet a whole slew of fabulous, a lot of Doctor Who nerds. It was so cool. And some of the most amazing, and I use the word, but honestly, it's the truth, very powerful, very empowered cosplayers, female artists, and I am just extremely happy to have gained the wealth of knowing you and so many others at that con. So thank you, Hansi.
Yes.
So if you don't mind, because I really love your bio, I was telling you, if you don't mind, maybe go over it a little bit with us as much as you feel like, because I do enjoy hearing it. And then I want to ask you a few things from that bio.
Sure. I'm the reigning Miss Nerdstiles. I inherited that crown from absolutely no one because I made it up. That's Nerdstiles, like turnstiles, but with it nerdy. Anyway, as Neisha said, I'm an actor, a musician. I've been cosplaying since before they had a word for it. I'm dating myself now. And I practice yoga and all sorts of fun stuff. I ran out of things. I distracted myself.
That's okay. So you came up with Nerdstiles for a very specific reason?
I went to see On the Town, and I was inspired because On the Town is basically Fleet Week, the musical, where these three horny sailors go off in search of, they want to meet Miss Turnstiles, who's like queen of her posters on, her pictures on posters in the subway, and they want to meet her because they're Jane Kelly and friends, and a lot cuter than, actual Fleet Week. No, Fleet Week is lovely. But yeah, I was there and I saw I saw posters for Miss Turnstiles, and all of a sudden something clicked.
I love it though. And that's because you're bringing generations of being a nerd and a geek together in such a beautiful marriage.
Well, and before anything else, I am a musical theater nerd before anything. I mean, that was my first fandom before anything. I grew up in the theater, and whenever, when my classmates were listening to, as I date myself further, Debbie Gibson and Tiffany, on their Sony Walkman. I'm listening to the original Broadway cast album of Sweeney Todd.
Of course you were.
Yeah.
Who wouldn't be?
Right. Anyone with taste would be, of course.
Do you remember the days when we were in middle school or high school and they would give us our theater drama clubs would bring us for the off-Broadway run-ups?
Sometimes. I didn't go to school in the city. So, no, by the time I got to middle school, I had moved out into the suburbs. I was born in Brooklyn. You can tell when I drive. But then I moved to the burbs. And then back to the city, and then back to the burbs again.
Well, I did grow up in New York, Queens, New York, Richmond Hill, and it was a very utopia type of environment. I grew up next to the Gaudis, which is a very interesting
I bet.
environment to grow up in. And I'm sure people are like, whoa, what's this conversation? If they're 20 and they're like, well, what are you talking about?
Yeah,
well, you're learning about the Gaudis on TV because there's a Netflix show coming out about growing up Gaudi. Remember?
Kids, just imagine that her neighbor was Tony Soprano, okay?
Mm-hmm.
That's your thing.
That would be correct. But back in those days, I didn't realize how lucky we were. Our high school musical theater club was pretty wonderful. And we did get to see the off-Broadway run-ups, and I saw more than I thought I'd even remembered. So, yeah, musical theater was the thing.
Yeah. I mean, I grew up at, I don't know if you've ever heard of it. It's like one of the big creative arts summer camps. It's called French Woods Festival of the Performing Arts. Woohoo, French Woods. And I grew up there, and now I work there, and my daughter goes there. And it's amazing. It's been around for a million years, and you get these it's why I am the way that I am. You get these kids there who are 14 and they know the entire score to Pacific Overtures, and it's fantastic.
So that brings me real quick. Have you been to Broadway Con yet?
I did not go. I have not been to Broadway Con. French Woods went last year. They had a table, but I haven't. And I was supposed to go with them, and then I wound up not. But I wanted to go. They have it. It's in the dead of winter.
No joke, man. Let me tell you. So my first and only time was last year, but that was, of course, the third year of it. So yeah. It's one of the most exhilarating life eye-opening experiences.
Oh yeah, I have a Hamilton cosplay and everything. I mean,
Oh, I know. Well, okay, next year, because I'm bringing a group next year.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking out that we're going to go as DG. I want to be able to do these interviews. They were fabulous. You have such access, because I met the cast of oh my God, what is wrong with me? The Band's Visit.
Okay.
Oh my God, because they're right there.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh my God! Yeah, and I probably saw the school because I was there last year.
Yeah, probably.
And they put the piano out in the middle of the vendor alley.
If there was an amazingly talented guy playing piano forever named Josh, that's
you got it.
Josh, that's my friend. Hi, Josh.
Oh my God. Well, I have video of Josh. And, throughout the entire event, you can just randomly show up and you're going to be belting out show tunes. And yeah, you're right. They were 11 and 12 and 13 and 15. But at the same time, what I found, which was the exhilarating part is, of course, getting to sing the songs. And you're doing this in tandem and in unison, but you're doing it with literally multiple generations of fame at the same time.
Yeah.
And there's no cultural or generational barriers in that moment.
No.
Extremely unifying experience. What draws you to musical theater as your primary passion? I'm going to say it probably is mine, even though I was extremely strong into the comic book world.
Okay.
But I will say musical theater. So what for you because it changed your life, I would say.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, I was brought up in it. I mean, the camp that I'm talking about is actually owned and run by my family. So, yeah. So,
Tell me.
It was there, and we, they do like, well, back then they did like 30 shows every summer. Now it's 2 or 3 times that.
Wow.
Yeah, but this was where I was first on stage and first had that experience of raising my voice with others to sing amazing things. I remember it was like after the activities one day, and somebody showed up with the Les Mis vocal selections, like they were hot off the presses.
Wow.
When Les Mis was brand spanking new, and there were like maybe a dozen of us, and we all huddled around the piano while somebody sight read at the end of the day, and we all sang, and it was unbelievable. We sounded like the album. It was amazing.
Oh, I'm here. I'm literally sitting with my mouth all open. Okay. So you literally grew up in your fandom.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
How did your parents get to the point to which this is what they knew they wanted to do? Because that was a huge undertaking back in that time.
Yes, my father was a music teacher at first in Brooklyn, and my mom's an artist, always was, and he partnered with, he was a music teacher in a high school, and he had a partner, and then he did it on his own, and it became this thing. And it grew and became this humongous. When you get a chance, go look at the website, frenchwoods.com. It's unbelievable. It's Galaxy class camp.
I am actually doing exactly that while we're speaking. And I'm thinking in my head, honestly, Kat. See, this is I'm going to just like a little bit of something interesting that I think we can probably talk about.
Mm-hmm.
I'm from an East West Indian culture.
Okay.
And whereas musical theater was something we enjoyed to the umpteenth, it wasn't something that we were encouraged to be part of, other than for fun. So it's not that we weren't encouraged to be part of the art. So it's interesting to have I'm looking at the website, the Performing Arts Camp. Frenchwood is an individual choice performing arts camp for children from 7 to 17. We offer programs in theater, dance, music, circus, magic, rock, and roll, visual arts, film and video, sports, tennis, sports.
Yeah.
Woohoo!
Oh, dude, awesome. There are kids who spend their entire day in rehearsals for one thing or another. And then there are kids who never set foot on a stage. I work in the barn. Okay. We have a horseback program. We get like 32 horses a summer, and we teach English and Western. And I'm starting to sound like a commercial, but my point is
encouraging it. Thank you very much.
My point is that like, I think it's amazing. And there are other theater intensive programs out there for kids, but I don't know that I don't consider them camps. I consider them, kid repertory companies, youth repertory companies or whatever, because they don't offer anything else. There are these other, all they do is theater, which is great. But, I want to learn to make a chainmail bracelet. I want to go learn to play tennis. I want to learn to ride a horse. I want to go swim in the lake or in the pool. They have we have all of these other things, and the beauty of it is that the kids get to design their own program. They get to pick the things that they want to take.
Mm-hmm. I'm reading this site. This is unbelievable.
Yeah, it's incredible.
So so I'm so glad you're talking to me about it, and that we're going to highlight it, because I want the show to always be something extremely organic about what the purpose is for what the discussion ends up coming to.
Cool.
And this discussion, I am absolutely going to make sure that on our websites, part of the show, that we work on highlighting what the French Woods Festival of the Performing Arts and what the camp does, because I'm enamored by this. And the funniest, craziest thing is I was at Broadway Con last year and actually saw the school.
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
camp. It's a camp. It's not a school. It's a camp.
Right. So all the camps. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So that was like, wow.
That's very funny. What I'll do is I'll tell the camp newsletter, and we'll do some cross promotion. We'll say, hey, Kat was talking about camp, etc. on this nifty podcast.
Yes, I love it. That's what we're going to do. Maybe in the future we could actually work on doing something when I come, because I'm coming up to New York pretty shortly, actually.
Yeah.
So I am coming. Okay, so I'm going to step back for 1 second, and I made an interest. For me, it was interesting. If I had an opportunity to go to something like this when I was 17, I believe that I could have worked on my own journey to self-identity, I think, a little bit earlier.
Yeah.
Because, of course, it's different, right? There's a very strong cultural paradigm as to where you find who you are. Did you always feel like you were able to self-identify, that you were like this is who I am, and I'm able to express that person?
Oh man, I was so ridiculously myself as a kid that a lot of the time people didn't believe that I was being myself. I can't even tell you how many times in my yearbook somebody had written on it, it's been, have a great summer. Here's hoping that one day you'll be able to stop to stop putting on whatever and just be yourself. And I'm like, dude, I am myself every day of my life. I'm just more interesting than you. Myself is many different things. It's not, if I feel like wearing a top hat to school and I can get away with it, it's not an affectation. I feel like wearing a top hat that day for whatever reason. I mean, I don't think I did because I don't look good in hats, but you know what I mean? Much of that was because right from the cradle, I was encouraged and nurtured in that sort of thing, in performance and in expression and in being yourself. I mean, you grow up at this camp, and I see it to this day. In fact, more so. It's now more than ever. It's this wonderful oasis that our young people can be safe at. We have kids there who are out, and they aren't out at home because they don't feel safe yet to be there, to be out at home.
Absolutely.
It's amazing. We have, I had a student, lovely guy student, who wore wigs and fake eyelashes and heels around, and nobody cared. That was his thing. He outgrew it when he felt like it, and if he hadn't, we would have loved him anyway. It was just, no matter who you are, you're going to be accepted because we're all weirdos. It's embraced.
Oh my God. I think you actually just hit it in the head for me. I used to always tell people, be who you are, because weird is beautiful. So what if I'm weird? So what if you don't understand me? It definitely, you're striking a lot of chords with me in reminiscing about what it would have been like, or what it was like, Yeah,
it was hard though, because then I had to go back to school. And
how was that?
It was culture shock. Yeah, it was different. They didn't get me. For a few years I was able to go to a theater program on my Saturdays, and that saved me during the year because there were a lot of people from camp who were part of this program. But yeah, in middle school and junior high, up until high school, junior year in high school was when I crossed the barrier. And you know why? I went from being a weirdo misfit that nobody talked to all of a sudden I'm invited to sit at the back of the bus and hang out with the popular kids at their table because I got cast in the spring musical. And, and so we did productions, and I was in them, and I was good in them, and all of a sudden then I was somebody. And, that's a mixed blessing when you're growing up, because then what that teaches you is that you have to be on all the time, and that people aren't going to like you if you're not performing, if you're not, if you don't go to 11 all the time. So it took me a lot of years as an adult to sort of find a happy medium and a balance. And, I'm a Libra, so to where I could be on when it was appropriate, and then when it wasn't, I was able to dial back and still be myself.
So having parents who were in the arts, do you also have siblings as well?
Yeah. They both, my sister is one of the directors of the camp.
Okay.
And she's 4.5 years younger than me, and she's amazing. And she is, she's way more grown up. She's younger than I am, but she's way more grown up than I'll ever be. And she, and I mean that good. And so she's going to, she's one of the directors. And not only when I say director, I mean, she directs shows there, but she also like runs the whole, helps to run the whole thing.
Wow. This is just a beautiful, juxtaposition of learning how to express that geek in your everyday life when you've already been encouraged to embrace it. So that must be, that's amazing. But at the same time, being encouraged to embrace it, have a family who helps and supports and encourages you to be who you are and true to yourself, doesn't always mean that it's going to be an easy fit to express it every day in your life, because society is not always nice. Yeah.
Absolutely. And, and even at camp, it's, because you get anywhere with a lot of people. And I mean, there's like 1,000 kids. It's a society. You're living in a small town. This is your village. And people will do how they do. Different types of people draw, and everyone is accepting and nice and to each other and cool. But at the same time, there are the kids who always seem to get the leads in things because because they're super talented and they deserve them. When at the moment I work in the barn, I work with the horses.
Right.
But for 10 years I taught stage combat. And I don't direct there. I don't need that kind of stress. It takes a special kind of person, and God bless that person. I am not that person, to put up a full production of Les Mis in 2.5 weeks. And they do. And it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable what they can do. But that's beyond my skill, my comfort. So anyway, but I taught stage combat. And it was great because I would get a lot of the weirdos who didn't get, for whatever reason, they didn't get a lead in whatever. So they would come to me and I would teach them they'd get a featured thing because it was a performance class. They'd learn a fight and they'd put it in a scene and they'd, pair off with a friend and beat each other up for mommy and daddy, only not really. And that way. And we would do things like, you got your Shakespeare and all, but we would do things that were fun. So I got to use this platform to introduce kids to Buffy the Vampire Slayer and to Firefly, to all of those awesome nerd things, and we would bond over them. And so I'm always like, give me the awkward teenagers, and I will, because I was an awkward teenager, so I understand them. Like, come to me, and I will watch Angel with you, and you will know that it truly does get better, and you can find your awesome and be it.
Oh, I'm loving this. So I think that I probably would have been one of those kids because I knew what I loved, right? I mean, I was the one sitting sometimes in a closet reading comic books forever because that's where I felt my comfort. Nice. I used to think that if I sat in the closet in the quiet and the dark, my imagination was real. So that's okay. If that makes sense.
Cool.
That was a big reveal. I don't think I've even told my kids that. That's so. Oh my God. So, but I would never tell anybody that because I obviously would be like, no, everyone's going to judge me. So in my culture, judgment was there, and it wasn't because they meant to do it. It's just that it wasn't a social moray for us. Correct? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So with those kids, you're teaching combat, but you're teaching emotional combat. You're teaching social combat at the same time, right?
Kind of. kind of. I mean, it was eventually we started because I would teach stage combat and yoga. And then eventually I started, I took over like an area of the arts and crafts department, one period a day, and we called it Arts and Cat. And it was just, you had to be working on some sort of craft project, I don't care what, but that was our excuse to sit around and talk about Buffy, and talk about nerdy things, so that we didn't waste all of our stage combat class time on just chit-chatting about geekdom.
Oh, I love it. I think that's perfect because you're creating a climate of acceptance and self identification. Wittingly or unwittingly, that's what you did. That's amazing. Because you're giving. The thing is, this culture is so vast and wide, and I was doing a show with Louis the other day on the social and emotional influence of film, and we were talking about how much we wish people would look at Asian film and cinematography more. There's so much beauty in it. But then we're talking about art, and then we're talking about Tolkien and the literature, and then we're talking about, and it's like, because there's a wide berth of things out there that can fulfill a person. Yeah. So many things. So I know that you're a Doctor Who fan.
Yes.
So how long have you been watching?
Okay, I came really late to the Doctor Who party. I felt like a really bad nerd in the 80s because I just was not interested in the wacky guy with the scarf. I just didn't. I was busy watching Star Trek: The Next Generation. Sue me.
No, girl, I was watching too. All real waiting at the time. Don't worry.
And so then the reboot happened, and New Who happened, and I still didn't care. And then I tripped over BBC America did a marathon day of all of Series 5 of Matt Smith's first season. And I went, you know what? Okay. And I hit record on the DVR so that I'd have it for later. And I binge watched all of Series 5, and that got me. The combination of Matt Smith and Stephen Moffat bringing his A game, like he can do. When he brings his A game, it's amazing. And when he doesn't, you want to tear your hair out.
Pretty much.
Yeah. But that's just a solid season. Even if you don't like Matt Smith, it's just a solid season. And I loved it. And then I went back and now that I was invested, and then I watched all of New Who, and then I've been gradually collecting every time I do a guest appearance at a Doctor Who con and they have me moderate a panel for like one of the cast members, I make a point of, if I haven't seen their episodes, I binge watch all of their episodes. So that's been fun. So that,
I love doing that, though. I do love going back to the history of it, because I've been watching since I was 13, but I didn't exactly watch every single episode forever. We didn't get to see all of them back in the day, and I don't have BrickBox, but I have been trying to go back since we did our Whovian show a couple weeks ago, because we brought up some really great points in that show. So I was like, let me go back and look at some of these episodes because I want to see what I was missing about this. I know that you identify extremely strongly with River Song, which
that's my girl.
Me too, without a question. But at the same time, you identify with Alex too. Alex Kingston, who plays her.
Yeah. I mean, we should all, the woman is a freaking goddess.
Yes, there you go. Mm-hmm.
I had the insanely good fortune to be able to do an interview with her, to moderate her panel at Intervention Con a few years back. And it was a good thing too, that I had met her across a table at New York Comic-Con 2 years prior. So I was able to do the fangirling and get that out of my system and say all of the fan things that I needed to say to her, so that then when we got there and we were side by side, I could talk to her like a person, and I was able to do my job. And she's just a lovely, lovely woman. She's so genuine, and
isn't she?
She's just a ray of sunshine. She's wonderful.
I met her 4 or 5 years ago when we went to MegaCon down here back in the day. And every single time I have seen Alex Kingston, she's remembered me. And we've continued to converse.
That's wonderful.
And it's these beautiful things. And she remembers Diversely Geek. She remembers who we are. Every time. Hi, do you want me to sign anything? You know, let's get a few minutes to chat. We were at Dragon Con in September, and she literally stopped her agent and said, "Hold on. I'm talking to a friend."
Nice.
I was like,
Nice.
This woman. I mean, God, let me, come on. You know, it's just, and I didn't ask her to. It's just who she is. And it's, you identify with her, and I say that because she's she's found her self-value, her self-love. She's gone through her journey.
Yeah.
But, you know, she doesn't fit the typical female heroine personality, persona, or body type, etc.
Yeah. I mean, I know she knows this because Lord knows I said it to her, and I'm sure thousands of women have said it to her, that, you know, River is huge for so many of us. I mean, she's the love interest of the young, handsome, doctor guy, for God's sake. And she's not 20. And she's, you know, not a size nothing. And she's sassy and she's smart and strong. And she breaks all of these barriers. Mm-hmm. And I mean, say what you want. She and Matt Smith set together. They set the screen on fire.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, they did.
You know, I mean, it's just amazing. I mean, I loved seeing her with Capaldi. I loved seeing her with David Tennant. I wish we could have got more of that. But for me, it's always River and Eleven.
I actually, I'm very much in agreement. I think that we were very much treated to very, very smart casting.
Yes.
That's a rare happening. But I do think that we're lucky that in the Doctor Who universe we do manage to get smart casting. And we have the opportunity to meet characters that I think can do a lot for the fandom in terms of learning diversity and learning how to understand each other.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Who is brilliant for that. And I think it always has been. You know, yeah. I think that even if you look back in the archives, there was still groundbreaking stuff. There was still, it was just amazing.
No, every bit of it. And you can tell we're Whovians. We're trying so hard not to geek out over being Whovians. I'm trying to be a good girl because you know that's what I'd be doing on this day. You know me by now. So
geek away.
I think that I was kind of curious, with the musical theater world, of course, being part of your life, but your mom is an artist as well. Mm-hmm. What type of art and what was your exposure in terms of art?
When you say art, you mean like visual?
What type of art? What artist was she? Is she a writer? Is she a visual artist?
She's a visual artist. She works mm-hmm. in pastels, mm-hmm. sometimes ceramics. She makes these really interesting looking three-dimensional things involving. I mean, it's so hard to describe. She'd be good at it. I'm not. She's a visual artist.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And I'm terrible at that sort of thing. I can't draw my way out of warm Jell-O. As we speak, I'm looking at. She doesn't do representational art anymore, but when I've had it my entire life. I don't even remember how old she was when she did it or how old I was when I got it, but I'm looking at an oil painting of a dragon that she did several thousand years ago. And every time she's over and she looks at it and she goes, wow, it's been a really long time since I've done something like that.
Okay. My hand's up if she's ever willing to do another one.
Okay.
I would love a dragon.
I will tell her that. Although, to be fair, between us, we probably know plenty of artists that could hook you up with a dragon.
That's probably true. I will give you that. That's very true. Yes, I would love a dragon, though.
My roommate and I, we just made a dragon, sort of. We made, How to Train Your Dragon 3 is opening.
Hello, I saw it in this pre-screening.
Oh, that's right. I remember you saying that you did that. So I have a toothless onesie that my daughter and my boyfriend bought me for Mother's Day last year, and we used it as a pattern, and we got this lovely white fleece, and we made my daughter a Light Fury onesie, and she has not stood still long enough in it to let us to take pictures, but we are going to take pictures, and we are.
Okay, yes. Tell her I said go stand still long enough and take the picture and post it on our blog. Okay. Because I am crazy over. We are crazy out of How to Train Your Dragon. Oh, you did see it, right?
Yeah, we didn't. No, we haven't seen it. We're a little leery about it because it's going to be all of this trauma.
Yes, it is.
Upsettingness, and then it's going to be sad.
I'm not good. No, I can't say that.
I mean, I've seen all of these trailers, so I don't want to be spoilery on the thing. But then it's going to be sad, and in the meantime, getting up to the sad ending, there's going to be beloved animals in jeopardy, and it's going to be very anxiety making.
You are very correct from that point of view.
Yeah. So
but I can't say anything because I can't. If I do, you'll kill me, so that's okay. But I think that it is one of the most brilliant pieces of animation that they've created ever.
Do they have the good score like the first movie?
Yes, ma'am.
I have a beautiful relationship with that score.
It is all there.
Yay. It wasn't really there in the second one, the score, and that made me sad. But we're going tomorrow. This company, it's like virtual skydiving or something. It's called iFly, and they're doing a How to Train Your Dragon thing where you get to be in a VR helmet and you can be Hiccup or Astrid and you can fly on a dragon.
What?
Yeah, and we're going tomorrow. What? I'll let you know how that is.
Okay, so 5 minutes of video, please.
Okay.
I have got to see this.
Yeah, my boyfriend's going to come, and they're probably going to make us wear, we're going to bring our dragon outfits just in case, but they're probably going to make us wear their jumpsuits, which will be sad, but, We'll I don't know, try to dance around.
I wonder if they're doing it anywhere else, because they do have it here. I just have to go.
Look, I'm sure they have it by you. Look on their website.
Okay, I will look. I love you. See, I knew we were sisters. Every time we talk, we find that much more
things
in common. So this is it.
More things, yes.
It's so interesting because, I think we're age compatriots, I think.
Yeah.
I'm 53, so.
I'm 47, so ish.
You're my youngest sister. Okay.
There you go.
I think that we have a strong understanding of what it is to look at technically 5 decades. For me, it's 5 decades. For you, it's 4, but of the change, the social change in terms of accepting people like us who love things like this, who are as old as we are, and yet still know that the best thing we can do is to embrace this part of our life. How do you feel the world has been in terms of acceptance, in terms of your experience with, I guess, people who haven't gotten to this point yet, where they're, fully accepting of this part of their life?
I think it's easier now. I think that, with the internet and geek culture has been normalized. Now it's, everybody goes to Comic-Con. Everybody, and back in the day, we had to do this stuff. It was almost like under wraps. I first got into organized fandom, like I said, with Star Trek: The Next Generation was my first, and I went to a lot of cons for that sort of thing. And of course, the Star Trek fandom had been around for ages, and then it was Xena. Then it was Xena Warrior Princess.
Oh God, yeah, I love that one.
Yeah, that was huge. That was huge for me. That's where I discovered cosplay because I made a really good Gabrielle. Damn it.
Oh,
Yeah.
you did it, Gabrielle.
I did. I mean, still do. Will again once I, lose a couple of pounds because that outfit is not forgiving. But yes, I love me some. I love me some Gabrielle.
I absolutely love their relationship. So now we've gone in a different direction. But really, I love their relationship. I love the fact that it was an open relationship. And they didn't need to tell anybody who they were or who they loved. They just were.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, they didn't. What's funny is that it occurred to the fans before that they were a couple.
Yep.
It occurred to the fans before it occurred to the writers or the actors. But once they realized that that's what the fans were seeing, they went, oh, and that's where they went with it. And they never ever said it because both of them, both Xena and Gabrielle, for all that they had each other, they were both involved with other people, with men a lot of the time. They were both bi. Yes, they're lesbian icons, but both of these women are bi. Get over it. So, I'm a bisexual person, and there should be more bi visibility. Damn it! And people forget that about Xena and Gabrielle.
We are getting there. I'm not saying that we're anywhere there. Actually, we do. Part of our changing the narrative conversation that we started a series. We're going on to our third show. It's very much along this line because I feel like that should be part of our narrative. I mean, it should just be part of our narrative.
You're right.
What? It just, This is life, man. This has been life. It's not like Xena and Gabrielle were representing something that wasn't existing.
Oh my God, right?
It's been there the entirety of humanity. Yep. It's just that we tend to be boxed in with cultural mores and social dogma. And that happens,
The world has gotten smaller, though. We have the internet now, and the internet has its good things and bad things, certainly. But God knows if I had the internet, my childhood would have been a lot less lonely because it would have mattered less that I didn't have any friends during my school day, because then I could have gone home and gotten on some social media and had friends, who were into the same stuff that I was into. I would have been a lot less lonely.
And it's so interesting that you're revealing that because, I lived a very lonely life as well, because I think in the age that the generation we were growing up, of course we were still closeted per se, right?
Yeah.
In so many different ways. And I'm, you're lonely because it was so hard to just be open about the things that you embraced, because who was going to understand that, That's amazing. I think that that is the reason why we're doing this show. The whole focus for Diversely Geek is to be able to address this sense of reunification, I think, now that all of us are willing to be accepting. So where do you think that we can go? Where do you think that we, as this generation and, working with the younger generations, what do you think we can do to help to change the narrative, to help to move things along?
Well, it works both ways, I mean, there's the younger generation now, my roommate and my boyfriend, they're both significant. They're the same age. They're both significantly younger than I am. And, we were just talking about this earlier this evening, how Generation X is the lost generation, because the current adults now are the millennials whose financial lives got ruined by their parents, the baby boomers. And meanwhile, Gen X is sitting here going, eating popcorn going, I'm just here for the comments. So, we have our own thing, but I love anything so everybody has to work is my point. There has to be work from both sides, because the kids who are coming of age today are so much smarter than we were. They're so, maybe not smarter, but they're so much more aware than we were, simply because they have the internet. They have my daughter's generation. These are the first group of people who have never known a time without smartphones. They have never known a time when they didn't just immediately have all of the answers of the internet in their hand.
Instant gratification.
Yeah. They don't know about fanzines. They don't know about chain letters and all that crap that we had. And even in the early days of the internet, of one lists and forums and all of that.
Oh my God, remember?
Yeah. So, they have a lot to, I mean, it's funny, every time my phone glitches, I hand it to the trick of when your iPhone glitches, you find someone under the age of 24 and you say, fix this, and they do. That's how it works. Oh. My roommate's turning 28 and she couldn't figure out a thing on her phone. And I'm like, welcome. You're no longer the guy who knows the things now automatically. Now we have to get my 13-year-old to fix the things.
I've been bugging one of our partner companies is Man Bites Media, and the owner. I've been bugging him because he's 32, and I keep telling him, sorry, man, you're not Gen X. You've moved up to the other generation, so when I think about you, you get to be in that generation. So it's like millennial plus. No. Yeah.
Well, people need to stop. People our age and older need to stop just using the word millennial to describe anyone younger than them that they don't like.
Yes,
they need to stop that because
I agree.
No,
I don't agree with labels in general.
No,
so I just think that I have that's my philosophy. We're just people.
I'm with you. We are in we live in very label heavy times.
Yes.
And people, I mean, okay, that's cool because I get it how there's comfort. There can be a comfort in knowing, okay, I'm this and I have a definition. I'm this. And there are other people who are that exact same this, and we have that in common, and I know that, and I can connect with them. So, I really get that. And so we need to respect those people and their need for labels, but at the same time, they need to respect that we don't particularly need them for ourselves, and we're not trying to offend them if we just don't think of them that way organically. We need to make an effort to do it if it's important to them. But, everybody needs to make an effort. It's possible. It's possible to find a common ground because there is always one somewhere.
Absolutely. And thank goodness for it.
So because that's the Libra.
I'm an Aquarian. I'm an Aquarian with a Earth and water sign rising.
Destined for greatness or madness.
I'm straight up.
Yeah.
That's why I always wax so prophetic and tearful.
Okay, valid.
That's who I am.
Well, Aquarians don't know if they're coming or going. They're like one of the most misunderstood signs in the zodiac. Simply because everybody thinks that they're a water sign and they're not.
No, we're not. We're Earth. Yeah. But at the same time, we have both. You're right. You see, we have these very strong tendencies. And there you go. That's another fandom, by the way. I always tell people everything is a fandom, Yeah. Everything that you love, that's very positive, that helps to support who you are, helps to support the nature of your being, and nurture you, I believe, is something that's a positive fandom. So in keeping with that philosophy, how do you think fandom, and with the broader scope, right, can inspire or motivate self-value?
Oh gosh, I mean, the list goes on and on. I'm a cosplayer. I've always enjoyed expressing my fandom sartorially. I was never one of those people who wanted to. Well, no, maybe when I was a kid, but I'm not one of those people who wants to wear a T-shirt that says "I heart blah blah blah." I heart Star Wars. I'd rather dress up as Princess Leia, General Leia, whichever. I'd rather like that. I'd rather wear something that, I'd rather wear a Pawnee Goddesses T-shirt that looks like the ones they wear on the show than wear something that says "I heart Parks and Rec," which I do.
Love you even more.
Which I do. I heart Parks and Rec.
Yeah. Hello, Amy Poehler. That's another goddess. She's a huge gift to the world. So,
yes,
oh
amen
my goodness.
Amen to that. You know what I have to get a plug in for, by the way, while we're talking about things that are awesome and that are fandoms and whatever? Have you seen the Netflix reboot of the series One Day at a Time?
Yeah.
Oh my God! Right?
Yes. You again. We're going to be doing a show on that, so maybe you'd like to be.
Oh, I want in on that. I want in on that so hard.
Yeah, it's coming. We're actually preparing it to record it in the next week. Yeah. I
am so there for that. I will praise this show to the skies forever.
We actually were at the season, at the screen, the filming of the season premiere. We managed to get tickets to attend that just before we went to Comic-Con.
Oh, that's amazing.
San Diego Comic-Con last year. So, yes, we got to see Rita Moreno. We got to see Gloria Estefan. I can't even, man. I cannot even believe I was in that. We were in that audience for 6 hours, by the way. It was
breathing the same air. Oh my God.
Breathing the same air of Rita Moreno, her little cha-cha, Gloria Estefan. And I was like, really? This is an EGOT winner.
Yeah.
This is a groundbreaking human being. Actress.
She helped teach me to read.
Anything. My God, she helped teach her to read. Remember?
The Electric Company. Remember in the finale to season 1 when they're at Elena's quinces and they're trying to quiet the room and Lydia goes, "Hey, you guys!" And I lost it. I absolutely lost it. And I was so sad that it didn't get a bigger laugh because that was such Thank you for doing that because I'd been waiting for it for my generation. She was the voice of my age because that was the first thing you heard when you watched the Electric Company.
Rita gets to throw in her beautiful clips like that for almost everything that she's done. I mean, like she's always reaching back into the history of West Side Story.
Oh yeah, I know she's going to be in the new one.
Yes, she is. They wrote her a role. That's very
they changed Doc, which is
yes,
great.
They did.
I think it's cool because Doc is fleshed out, and you can do so much more with him because he's a great character.
I love it. Doc should have had more to the character. He was a very strong influence on the kids, but we really didn't get to see it in the original because they didn't. I think they wrote the character with more depth. They just didn't film it that way, right? Because translation.
How he is in the film is pretty much. I've done the show twice.
Okay.
So, that's pretty much how he is. He gets, some zingers in there. He's the one who, after the assault on Anita, he's what do you make this world lousy? And Action says, "That's the way we found it, Doc." That kind of. So there's so much there to build on. Okay, so I think that's going to be another show. Okay. We need to do. We'll just make a list. the movement of musical theater in terms of how it created a culture of social awareness. Oh my God. That would be the most fun. Yeah, this is going to be amazing because we will you see how you and I just keep moving fluidly between every fandom in God's Earth? Because that's who we are. Because we are kindred. Yeah. 40 years of just these things that have shaped who we are. So the question I asked you, we answered it with our conversation. How do you think fandom can inspire or motivate self-value? The truth is it motivates everything. If you allow yourself, it transforms you. If you allow yourself to embrace who you are. I mean, the very least it does, it brings connection, which is amazing. I've made some amazing, wonderful friends that, through fandom, through Doctor Who, through, you name it. And then just for me personally, like the cosplay, I'm always challenging myself with new things, not only as to build costumes, but like out of, so my skill level, but out of my comfort zone, things that I used to only cosplay people that were age appropriate. And then I wanted to do a Firefly cosplay. And doing another River was funny. River Tam is 17 years old. It scared the hell out of me, you know, but I wanted to do it and I did it, and it's only ever been well received. Friend of mine goes, do you only cosplay characters named River? I'm like, yeah, right.
Yes.
No. but you know, that sort of thing, it was huge. Making the Hamilton cosplay, you know, I cosplay Thomas Jefferson because Daveed Diggs and I bonded over big hair. When we stage doored, because I saw Hamilton twice, once when I bought the tickets and once when I got lucky with the lottery. I got to.
You and I are lottery sisters.
Oh my God! There's another thing. Yeah, that's how I got to see the original cast, which was amazing. And so we stage doored, and there's.
I drool, but okay, go ahead. Girl, we have so much.
Mutual big hair. I have to build a Thomas Jefferson cosplay, and that's only ever been well received also, which is
because we're in a different social culture. The climate is trying, so it's uproarious. It's very tumultuous, but at the same time, I think socially we are trying to create a climate of acceptance and willingness, and you know, I do think we're getting there. I think that there are ways to get there, but unfortunately, you know, there are still a lot of people whose stories are not being heard because they simply don't feel safe enough to tell them.
No, it's true.
So that's what the hope of the show is that we're giving the voice to someone to be able to respond to us and say, hey, you know what? I share that story. You know, hopefully what you and I have discussed today are going to help someone across the 4 generations to feel comfortable enough to know that they can reach out to us, you know.
Yeah.
Talk to us. Let us be there for you, because that you know, we learned through the hard knocks.
It's true. I get, you know, I like my kids, my students. Some of my dearest friends I met them when they were 15, and my friend Charlie, I met him when he was 15, and now he's 27, and we're still close, and it's amazing. And because we found each other when he was growing up awkward, and I said, no, come be with me. I love you. You're wonderful.
Yes, exactly. You've got it. And, you know, that's how I ended up getting this title of Geek Mom. Everyone started to call me Potter Mom because that's a long story. It's a long story, but because we started out as a Harry Potter group.
Okay.
And we built into who we are. So,
okay. I sometimes think I'm the Mama Rose of cosplay.
Oh, gosh.
I don't like it when people call me Mama River. Sometimes that happens, and I don't love it. I try to take it in the spirit of niceness that I know they mean it.
Right.
But I'm like, really? But, you know, whatever. I love it that 19-year-olds think that River is awesome. I'd be lying if I wasn't part of me like, back off, she's ours. But I love it that the kids love her too. And so, you know, I get it when they want to, it's not encouraged, but okay.
Well,
you know, I sit there and I go, I'm constantly looking at other cosplayers going, sing out, Louise, you know, so. I'm the Mama Rose of cosplay.
Oh my God. And I, Gypsy Rose Lee. Here we go.
Exactly.
I get everything you're saying.
You do. I love that.
Oh my Lord. And my brain is like immediately focusing on, was it Natalie Wood? I don't remember.
Yeah. In the movie.
God. Oh my gosh.
Rosalind Russell.
Lane. So we'll just do a show where we talk about, and we just go because we can just go through all the Fandoms.
I got to introduce you to my boyfriend. He's he's 28 and straight and knows as much about musical theater as I do, and it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable.
Challenge. I think that let's see how we could do if we do a show and we try and see like how far back into the recesses of the mind we can reach and see what we can pull out there, because you know, you see musical theater coming to this, not just back to the stage, but you're seeing it on television.
Yeah,
the resurgence is there, and it's more than one broadcast network doing it. So it's because that they know there's value to it.
Yeah.
If you see Rent on Fox TV, you have to realize that something has changed.
That's really true. Just the very fact that was able to happen, you know, say what you want about the performance and the circumstances and blah, blah, blah. But just the very fact that was happening on network television, that says good things.
That's phenomenal. So, okay, I really want to keep going. So much to do and talk about.
But we should all go to bed. So
I think we gotta go. I think we've come up with at least 3 shows in this show that we're going to work on. So, yay! Definitely going to work on the social influence of musical theater growing up West Side Story, because I love the concept that growing up West Side Story was a phenomenon. And a social acculturation. So I think that I would love to. Did
you die in that season 2 episode of One Day at a Time when Lydia goes, I like to be in America. And Penelope goes, I know you do. I screamed.
Yes, we do.
Sorry, go on.
And sometimes I just put that episode on because I want to hear that. Just saying. Oh my God, yes. That woman is just, I will meet her. She said hi to everybody that day, but still didn't get to meet her. But it will happen.
Wonderful.
So, all right. So tell us how we can find you and where we will see you.
You can find me on the internet if you really just Google Miss Nerdstiles. Miss, MISSNERDSTILES. So it's not there's no Y. And you can find me on Instagram that way, and then there's a Facebook page. And if you really want to be super cool, you can chuck a cyber buck in my cyber tip hat over on Patreon.
Yay!
Which is excellent. And Patreon, like I just recorded a video tonight that my patrons get stuff either exclusively or they'll just get it sooner. Every couple of weeks I try to do a little something. I'll play a song or something for my patrons, which is cool. My next con appearance will be Regeneration Who in Maryland, which is always an amazing time. And before that, if anyone is in town, I have 2 ukulele fests coming up. One is in Beacon at the Doctor Who Cafe, the Pandorica. And which is amazing. You should go there on your next trip north. And the other one is at the Way Station in Brooklyn, which is that bar. It's the steampunk bar that has a TARDIS as a bathroom, which is actually bigger on the inside.
Ooh.
And you can get instead of a screwdriver, you get a sonic screwdriver, and it's amazing and wonderful. And I've been running a ukulele fest there for 5 years, and we do it twice a year, and it's amazing. So we'll be having the vernal equinox because we do it once in the fall and once in the spring.
Oh, wow. Okay. I'm very interested. So if you feel like shooting that out to me, I'll definitely put that out on the one.
I'll give you the details of those because they're always a really good time.
I'm looking at Regeneration Who on the website. I'm like, ooh, I really need to come back up north.
You should, and it's not, it's Maryland. It's not hugely far.
No, it really isn't. We're coming up, like I said, we're going to be up there for the Tolkien exhibition at the Morgan Museum.
Ooh. Because
there's just no way I'm missing that. So we're hosting a group. We're putting together a group, which we just need 10 folks to get we're going to get one of the private tours.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah, I'm going to put that out to the New York folks to see if anyone wants to join.
I definitely know people that would totally want to go to that.
Okay, so I'll be putting that up soon. You can just share it out, and as long as we have our 10 folks. But it should be, it's going to be in the end of April, so as of right now. Okay, so I'm extremely happy, and I know that you hopefully will be coming back on for a couple more shows as we move on with Doctor Who in Review, which, is our partnered show that we do with Man Bites Media. And we should be recording, we'll be having a new episode out next week. And you find us, Diversely Geek, on pretty much every social media site out there. You can also find this show, My Geek Universe, on our Spotify, iTunes, Alexa, Google Play, Stitcher, and quite a few other things. You should be able to find us there. You can find us on our YouTube video as well, on our YouTube channel, Diversely Geek. And we should be having some content from SqueakCon coming up there pretty soon.
Oh, yay.
Which includes Miss Nerdstiles herself.
Woohoo!
Yeah.
That was so fun.
That's going to be so much fun. Oh, my God. Just watching you and reminiscing over that's going to be a blast. So, and you and I should be connecting, because while I'm up there for Lord of the Rings, I'm also going to be recording an interview with the board members of the Alexander Hamilton Awareness Society.
Oh, my gosh.
Live from the Grange, Alexander Hamilton's home.
Oh, cool.
Yes. So,
yes, we should. Yes, that's amazing.
That's coming. So, yay. That's going to be an amazing weekend. I cannot wait for it to happen. So, DG Lovelies, this was a really revealing episode, because with the lovely Kat Smith, I was actually able to really explore and kind of open myself up and to tell you guys a lot about the fandoms I don't always get a chance to talk about, because the great thing is that she and I have those things in common, which is so cool. And to let everyone know that, we're all part of one big, huge geek nation, like I said. I didn't say Greek this time.
Yeah, no.
And that I think that we are the best nation in existence, because we are willing, we are accepting, we're loving, and we're kind. And that's the way we need to stay.
Amen, sister.
So let us all join together and reunify as one, and keep embracing our geek, keep expressing that geek, and then please, let's transform our fandom passions into positive action and help the world, So I will be coming back to you in 2 weeks with our next episode of My Geek Universe. Thank you, everyone. Much love, and have a fantastic week.
Bye.
Bye.